The issue of forest health is one that's near and dear to my heart because Colorado's forests are critical to our clean water supplies, and they provide places where we work, we live, we play, we recreate. But we've been seeing, and Chief, you know this, Mr. Ellis, you know this, insect outbreaks and catastrophic fires that are unprecedented in our recent history. And at the same time, as Senator Murkowski just alluded to and Senator Wyden, our forest products infrastructure, like our sawmills, continue to struggle. And I recognize that we've made substantial efforts to help solve these issues. I'm very pleased, for example, that there's a farm bill finally on the way to the President, and that the forestry title includes many provisions that support more on-the-ground work by encouraging cooperation and streamlining agency processes. Some of these, such as the Good Neighbor Authority, are provisions I've worked on for years, and I'm proud to have done so with Senator Barrasso, who was here earlier, and I'm sure he will return because he cares deeply about this as well. I look forward to working on more bipartisan initiatives like that because more needs to be done. And I say this not as a Coloradan, but as someone whose home has been subject to a wildfire evacuation order. And in Colorado, the question is not if we will have another mega fire, it's when. In Colorado, communities like my hometown of El Dorado Springs, and major cities like Glenwood Springs, Fort Collins, and Colorado Springs are increasingly living under the threat of major wildfires. So we've got to do everything we can to protect Colorado's communities and thousands more across the West. Make no mistake about it, wildfire threatens our water supplies and our very way of life in Colorado. And I appreciate your listening and your attentiveness because you both understand this. You live it every day. So let me turn to the forest products industry. It's a critical partner. It's helping us improve the health of our forests, Chief, and it provides jobs at the same time, particularly in rural Colorado communities like Montrose, Kremling, and Saguache. And I'm concerned that there's a substantial gap between the acreage that the U.S. Forest Service is providing for management and the capacity of the forest products industry. Given the conditions of the forest in Colorado, what can you do to provide additional acreage?
Well, Senator, first of all, thank you for your support and your leadership to get the authorities in the Farm Bill. Those are going to be very helpful as we move forward. There's no question that we need to increase the pace of the restoration. And I do believe that through some of the improvements in our internal processes that we're making to be as efficient as we possibly can are helping. But we need to be able to do even a better job to look at these large areas to be able to do an analysis that looks at the tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of acres at one time, and then to be able to use something like stewardship contracting so that there's some certainty, so that the timber industry, they can have some confidence that they can make the investments that they need because they know that they got maybe up to 10 years worth of work in front of them that's guaranteed. I think the more that we can do that, the better we can get more work done. There's no question I want to work with the committee to find more ways to be more efficient. I think with Senator Barrasso's bill, the idea of if we can use a strong collaborative process and our focused NEPA, we can reduce the number of alternatives that need to be considered. I think those are the things we need to continue to work on, be able to get more work done. And then lastly, there's just no question, we just have to stop this fire transfer.
Yeah,
and if at all possible, find ways to add some additional resources.
Let me move to that, and let me make the point, as you just did, that the forest products industry is about providing timber, biomass, and most importantly, forest health. The forest products industry will really help us return to a time when our forests are healthy. And I think that's been a epiphany for many. That's certainly been a light went on for many of us, that's really the utility of and the importance of the forest products industry. And they're ready and raring to go. So I want to work further with you on that. Let me talk about what you just alluded to. I'm a co-sponsor of the Wildfire Disaster Funding Act of 2013 with Senators Wyden and Crapo, and it would allow the Forest Service and the Department of Interior to access emergency funding to fight what are becoming expensive modern mega fires. Can you talk about fire borrowing and the Forest Service activities that get cut back year after year because of the growing expense of wildland firefighting?
Well, it seems like it's almost every year now that starting in August, we have to stop, some of the work that we're doing to not only be able to do the work that was planned for August and September, but where it has even more impact is we're not able to have our staff out doing the prep work for the next year's projects. And so year after year, this continues to just slow us down, not only in the work that we normally would get done in probably the best part of the field season in August and September, but then we cannot do the prep work, be out doing the surveys or doing the marking during those months for the next year's work. So it's just been a chronic problem that if we could change that, I can guarantee you that you'll see an increase in our level of production without any question.
We've got to turn it around. We
Yes.
truly have to turn this around. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mr. Ellis.